As the sun sets and the spotlights take over, it's time for the second round of the 6th season of FormulaXbox. I'm your commentator for today, KGibbsGP, and the Sakir International Circuit is the host for what promises to be a fascinating race. Australia threw up plenty of surprises in what was the first round of competitive action of FormulaXbox for quite some time. It was Sam and the Ferrari who took his first Tier 1 victory, and what a win it was, with excellent strategy, playing his way nicely into the front of the pack and ultimately earning himself a very well-earned win, a very well-earned 25 points, the very best way to start a championship campaign. So as I said today, Bahrain is the host for this one, and it was Insignia who got the jump on everybody in qualifying, taking pole position for McLaren as he hunts for his 7th victory, including those gained in Tier 2 of his career today. His time of 1:30.409 was the very, very best, but only just, as Josh, making his debut in the Williams, was just 600ths of a second behind him in qualifying. A reigning world champion, Luke, as well, just further 3 tenths behind that. So, as we prepare for the light sequence in just a few seconds' time, anticipation is building. So we're on board now with Drastic Devil as we get 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. Drastic Devil in P12 at the moment. He's got Casey Legend and the Toro Rosso ahead. And the Ferrari of Sam, race winner last time out, to his left now as he goes on the brakes down into turn 1. A bit of a pinch point, and he's just in between 2 cars there. It's getting very close indeed. Drastic Devil, the meat and the sandwich of CK's round, and they've lost a lot of time. They're both the Haas and the Red Bull absolutely mired at turn 1 there, as it all got very, very claustrophobic. I said it'd be a pinch point, and then it's turned out we've got some more action in behind as well, with Drastic Devil and Drastic Midget, I should say, and another couple of cars out there as well. So let's have a few replays at the start and try and take stock of what happened there. As we can see, Pro Racing, who's coming from 6th on the grid, stays 6th, but then gets into contact with Maestro, who just seemed to lose the car on top of the curb. And that's his race over. We saw his front right suspension was in tatters there as the Manor hit the side of him. And now on board with CK, who was on the outside, caught up in all the action. He nearly goes on 2 wheels there as he's nerfed by the Toro Rosso there of Luke. I believe it was a tricky one. I think it was just a case of the pinch from the outside as the Calamie on the Williams just goes straight down the inside and causes that chain reaction involving the Toro Rosso there. I believe it was actually Casey Legend in the end involved in that one. And yeah, just very, very busy at turn 1, and a few drivers coming to grief, including Drastic Midget as well, who was involved in that secondary incident. And a lot of work for some drivers to do if they're going to come back in this race now. A tyre wear is quite significant at Bahrain, potentially not as significant as it is in China, but certainly more so than in Australia. So maybe they can use strategy to work their way back through, and potentially a safety car might save them, as we look again now at Maestro just losing the car on the curb there, and Drastic Midget getting caught up and collected in that particular incident with absolutely nowhere to go. Bit of front wing damage for him now as we see him pit on the end of lap 1, obviously to get repair to that front wing. You do lose a lot of downforce, even if you are just missing an end fence. And he's now going to switch to the medium compound tyre. So the Mercedes man looking for a longer stint now. And these mediums could take him as far as lap 14 or 15 even. So he could go a long, long way into this race now as he looks to recover some ground. One person who's made up a lot of ground from his P15 starting position is ElusiveKev in the Force India. As he drops it on the curve now, though, he's going to do well to keep it out the wall. He doesn't keep it out the wall. He clips off the left end fence of his front wing, and that's allowed KGibbsGP through in the Red Bull as well. K-Gibbs coming from all the way back on the back row of the grid after missing out on qualifying. P16 starting position for him, as we see Sam now dispatch Kev into P9, Sam up into P8. And on lap 3 they actually switched positions again off camera. We didn't see that, but Kev's made it back past Sam once again. So it's going to be battle royale between the Force India and the Ferrari as Kev goes a little bit deep there, picks up a penalty as well for track limits already, only on lap 3, and that's allowed Sam an easy pass there. And Kev's now got a couple of drivers behind him as well in the form of Drastic Devil. As we can see now from CK's perspective, he's behind Drastic Devil in this fight, So we now do have a 4-way battle for P8. Kev bails out, he bails into the pit lane, and leaves CK with DRS and Drastic Devil rather exposed now as they head into the braking zone at turn 1. Who's going to brake latest? CK on this occasion, as he gets down the inside of the Red Bull, clips the apex nicely, runs Devil out of the road on the exit as well, and picks up a nice P9. CK showing his racecraft there. As we cut now to the other Red Bull, KGibbsGP looking to recover from his poor starting position. He's now up into P6. Or is he? Because Callum's holding it out around the outside in the Williams. Great wheel-to-wheel stuff between these two. As KGibbs gets a little bit crossed up on the exit, holds it on the outside though, and takes the position around the outside. So he's now up into P6, but running the medium tyre crucially. So he'll go a little bit further in this race. But it's all action behind as we see Callum E. We've got Sam and CK all vying for the same bit of track. It could be 3 abreast into the final corner. CK's made a particularly ambitious move. Callum's not seen it coming. 2 of them around, Sam and CK in the Haas, have come to grief there. Callum's got away with it for now, but drama at the last corner there, as we see now from Drastic Devil's perspective, a replay of that particular incident. He had a fantastic view of all this that was happening. CK just goes down the inside of the 2 of them. Callum doesn't see him coming, only thinks Sam's on the inside, and ultimately, looking at it from CK's perspective now, it was an ambitious move from him in the Haas there to try and make it 3 wide, and ultimately it was 3 into 1 just doesn't go. And yeah, Callum E put the squeeze on the 2 of them, but I don't think Callum could be expecting anyone else other than Sam on the inside there, and in the end it turned out there were 2 cars waiting for him at the apex. So drama for those guys on lap 5. CK now boxes for a fresh set of tyres and potentially a new strategy, as we see another car in the pit lane up ahead as well. I believe it's prototypBudgiE actually it's Toro Rosso. It's actually Casey Legend who's made an early stop again. Potentially if he started on the super soft even, then it's about on cue really, as CK now goes to the medium tyre, doing a similar thing to what Drastic Midget tried as well, salvaging his race by going for another ambitious strategy, running the medium tyres for as long as he can. As we see race leader Insignia into the pits now, all that action's been happening behind him. He switches onto the soft tyre, and he must be on plan A right now because he's led away from pole position, and it all looks very, very comfortable for him so far. As we see Luke now trying to recover from his dramas on lap 1, going down the inside of ElusiveKev. Luke is now on the medium compound tyre as well, so ultimately he'll be hoping to run that as long as he can for the race. We've got a lot of drivers on that contra strategy at the moment, trying to run the mediums for as long as possible, giving themselves track position, and then hopefully taking it from there and seeing whereabouts they can get to once they make their second stops in this race, or first in the case of KGibbs and Callum, as we see up ahead of Drastic Devil at the moment, as Drastic Devil looks to make it a Red Bull 1-2 out front after all their adventures and their difficult qualifying session, both of them outside the top 10. Red Bull now lead the way, both of course starting on the medium compound as well, so going with that contra strategy early on. And as you see, Devil now on the inside of Callum E, but Callum E holds out around the outside. Fantastic wheel-to-wheel stuff. Williams goes wide though, and that allows Drastic Devil to sweep on past. Callum getting particularly feisty on the braking zone there though, and locking up and just touching the side of Devil, but he's got the room there to not come to grief on this occasion. And now it's relative pace between the 2 Red Bull guys. Can Devil close in on race leader KGibbs at the moment? As we see Insignia making the pass on Callum. Insignia will have to not get too bogged down battling with these guys. Ultimately, they aren't his race. He's just got to make sure he tries to steer clear of the guys directly behind him. Comundo might be in the battle, in fact, with Insignia later on in this race, as he's had a pretty good opening stint. And we'll see how it all plays out anyway. Insignia on the soft compound tyre won't be going too much further than the super soft tyre manages to go. Ultimately, the medium is what the McLaren would call the backup in this particular race, and it's the one that you can really get the mileage out of. But certainly the soft has a big pace advantage, and certainly against Drastic Devil at the moment, given he's running a very used set of mediums, Insignia has made light work of both the Williams and the McLaren on this lap, and is nearly back in the lead already. Just KGibbs to go now, and he'll have track position and a pit stop advantage over those guys in second, third and fourth. So as we see now, Sam making the move on CK to FormulaXbox veterans here, or from the past seasons at least. And so Sam and CK continue their battle. This is a replay of that particular dice from CK's perspective, as he goes down the inside there of Sam. Sam having none of it holds a tighter line and gets the drive out of the corner. Much better traction, and they're side by side heading into the sweepers. CK bails out of it, never going to be able to hold it around the outside of there, and he has a look down the inside as they head into turn 8, but nothing doing there. No cigar for CK on this occasion. And these two seem to have been joint at the hip so far in this race as we cut back to the lead battle now. Insignia, as I said, was about to take the lead back, and he's taken the lead back now. KGibbs relinquishing the lead, it looked like there. Again, as I said, no point KGibbs or no point Insignia getting bogged down in too much of a scrap at the moment, given the battle as such won't be the fight at the end of the race that they'll be having relatively. So as Sam now goes down the outside of CK, in fact heading through turn 1, they get very close there at the apex, and Sam's going to hold it for the inside at turn 2, but CK goes right around the outside, and the battle continues between these two onto the second lap of their particular dice now. The Haas versus the Ferrari. Two guys here with excellent racecraft, and they're demonstrating it today in full force. And as you can see now, so CK is going to be under pressure here from Sam as they head into the final corner. Sam down the inside, runs CK out of road on the exit there, and I believe Sam will be picking up the DRS as well, given he was behind him. So CK's got to try and stay in the tow, or else Sam's going to be blitzing away down the straight, and as you can see, CK's just got no answer for that straight line speed. He might have a go down the outside anyway, as Callum E comes out of the pit lane there. Sam did very well to see that coming. It was almost another incident between those three. As we see now, CK down the inside of Sam now, and he gets the position back. Potentially Sam wrong-footed on the traction out of turn 1 by Callum E, but Sam somehow got the position back there with some superb traction off of turn 4, and that's demoted CK back down to 11th place now. So fantastic racing between these two, and Callum E, who's out on fresh soft tyres, wants a piece of the action as well. These three have definitely been in each other's mirrors for most of this race so far, as Sam then goes deep into turn 10, and that's going to give CK the run as he gets on the DRS now. It's surely going to be easy meat as they head down into turn 10 now, and turn 11 I should say, on the brakes. CK's got the job done, but Sam's gone for the cutback again, his favourite move it seems in this race, as he now swoops back past him. He's going to have the outside now though, as he holds a great outside line, great traction, and retains the positions. And now heading on to lap 12, they're still in this battle, and it's one heck of a scrap. There's a bit of lag there. CK spun out, he's in the pit wall, and that's a disaster for CK. Let's see this from his perspective as we get a replay now, and horrendous lag there. CK goes for an almighty spin, lost the amount of times he spun around there. I nearly lost my bearings, and I'm not even driving the car. Disaster for CK though, down to P13 again, no front wing, so he's got to go a whole lap without a front wing and try and get his Haas back to the pit lane and salvage something or anything from this race. As we see now, KGibbsGP with some particularly worn tyres, 76% on his left front, under mega pressure from Surprise, Josh in P2 and Comundo in P3. They're the guys who are going to be trying to chase down Insignia in the second half of this race, but ultimately I think the McLaren's just got the march on them at the moment, and it's a lot of margin for them to pull in, as we see KGibbs now switching onto the soft compound tyres. So he's going to have to make another stop, I believe. He's not going to be able to get to the end on those. It's a very, very long way to go, and certainly from the medium tyres, it's a slam dunk 2 stop this race, potentially even a 3, depending on what tyres that people go for. As Luke puts some manners on Scott there on his way through, and we see now Drastic Devil just a little bit later on up the inside of Scott, as in the Red Bull he looks to get through. He's got the inside line now through turn 12, and that's job done from Devil there, and it looks like KGibbs followed him through as well. So the two Red Bulls dispatch the McLaren with relative ease as they're on their fresh tyres, obviously running very symmetrical strategies here, Devil and KGibbs. As you see now, KGibbs will be trying to get into the DRS zone as they head through the final corner now, all about getting the good traction out of here, and potentially we could have a battle between the two Red Bulls as they head into the braking zone at turn 1. So KGibbs in the DRS, in the slipstream, pulls out the slipstream now, goes down the inside of his teammate. Christian Horner will be having kittens on the pit wall as the two of them go wheel to wheel for the first time this season. Drastic Devil on the inside for turn 2. He's going to force KGibbs or force KGibbs to relent the position there. No chance for him to get by there, and Devil repels the attack for now. So as we see from KGibbs' perspective now, replay of that, he had the inside line there but was nowhere near ambitious enough on the brakes, failed to run Devil out of road, and Devil dispatches KGibbs with ease there on the exit. He does what KGibbs should have done at turn 1 when they eventually got to turn 2. Now KGibbs in the DRS zone again. The second DRS zone locks up horrendously going into there. Left front locked up, out of control. Couldn't get the car stopped, and Devil swoops back past once again. So they're still going at it hammer and tongs, these two, in this battle. But Devil goes off there, it's hit the wall, and I believe that's him out of the race. It is indeed. So the battle comes to a surprisingly abrupt end as Devil just goes straight on at the end of the road there. I don't know what was up with his car. The stewards will probably take a look into that to make sure there's nothing suspect in the in that particular incident. Ultimately, Devil did actually crash out intentionally on a couple of races, and as fell foul of the steward before for similar misdemeanors in the past. So it'll be interesting to see what they make of that particular incident. As we see now, the two Toro Rossos having a bit of a battle. Casey and Luke both involved in those lap 1 incidents, and they've found themselves on the same bit of tarmac now. So under braking, they've got very similar helmet designs, so it's difficult to tell from the exterior perspective. But Casey looks like he's got the job done now on Luke and has made his way up into P6. So both of them trying to recover, as you see now, from Luke's perspective. It is very hard to defend into turn 1 when you've got a car coming at you at pace like that. And I believe Luke is on quite a used set of tyres at the moment as well, so no real defence for Casey there. As we see now, Casey's got some serious pace at this phase of the race. As he goes down the inside of the Williams now, heading into the final corner. It's very tight at the apex. Casey has been pinched to the apex there, and is ultimately lost out to Luke again, so he's going to have to work on getting past his teammate once again. As we see Drastic Devil now back in the pit lane as his race came to an abrupt end. And as we see Luke now on the back of Callum, who's recently put some manners on Casey Legend and pinched him to the apex, as Luke goes down the inside now at the end of the DRS zone, putting the DRS to good use, and is now up into P5, and I'm sure his teammate won't be far behind either. Back on board with KGibbsGP now. He must be coming towards the end of his soft tyre stint, and once again he's being passed by guys he's not ultimately racing, as Comundo makes his way through on the medium compound tyre. So Comundo is probably going to the end now. There's a big margin between him and Insignia up ahead, so I doubt the Force India is going to be able to do anything other than settle for second at the moment. But second place would still be a very good haul of points for Comundo, and would still be a very well earned podium from what was a P5 on the grid. So making good progress so far in this race, as Kev now boxes his teammate boxes for super soft tyres, and they'll take him to the end of the race now with just 6 laps to go. As we see now, Drastic Midget on the back of Insignia. Drastic Midget, after all of his dramas so far in this race, has now been lapped, but could potentially unlap himself here with the DRS enabled, I should say. Easy for me to say, as he goes down the inside of Insignia there. He's already getting blue flags though, so he's going to have to pull a gap now if he doesn't want to have to let the McLaren back through, which is easier said than done. But ultimately on fresh tyres he might be able to do it, and by the looks of things he has been able to do it, as we've got Insignia rounding the final corner now to take a well-deserved victory, his 7th victory of his career in FormulaXbox, and class race, pole to victory, Nico Rosberg-esque that one, as there was all manner of incident in behind, and he's just been the class of the field at this weekend. So fantastic stuff from Insignia there, as we see Kev coming across the line in P11. And here's the final result. So we've got Insignia in first, Comundo with a well-earned podium in second, Sinan, who had a very quiet race in the Renault, quietly making his way up to 3rd position and taking a very, very good result there. Josh in the Williams, despite qualifying 2nd, did eventually slip back to 4th there as well. So ultimately, KGibbs in P7 I should say as well. Pretty good result from him, coming from 16th on the grid. But Sam, once again, working his way up through some good strategy after all of his early dramas with CK, and a great battle with CK, in fact, making his way up to P6. So a good result for Ferrari there in the form of Sam. And ultimately a very fascinating Bahrain Grand Prix. So I hope you've enjoyed this particular race highlights. If you leave your comments in the comment section below in regards to what you thought to that particular event. Your favourite moments in the race as well, favourite overtakes. It was pretty overtake packed and there was plenty of action to digest. So once again, thank you very much for watching. FormulaXbox will be back in China in just 1 week's time. But for now at least, guys, thanks for watching and goodbye.